Today I'm harvesting pumpkins and will take a look at everything related to pumpkin harvest. Pumpkins are a popular fall crop, known for their versatility in the kitchen and most importantly their long shelf life. Did you know you can still have your own pumpkins in spring? To time the harvest correctly, it's important to know how long pumpkins stay to grow and how to tell when they are truly ripe. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share how to store pumpkins properly to make them last. Let's get started. I'm harvesting two varieties of Hokkaido pumpkins, specifically the Uchiki-kuri variety. These are the classic orange Hokkaido pumpkins, which I sowed indoors on April 19. Then I have Blue Kiri, a blue Hokkaido variety sown indoors on May the 3rd. I planted the seedlings outdoors on June the 11th, 2 orange and 2 blue plants. Let's check how many pumpkins we have. Generally, one Hokkaido pumpkin plant produces 2 to 4 fruits, weighing 1.5 to 2 kilograms, 3 to 4 lbs libras, and a good yield is 4 to 6 fruits per plant. Blue curry is similar. We counted about 12 fruits from 4 plants in total.
18.
No.
18.
No, 12. Visually, the orange Hokkaido pumpkins are definitely larger and there are more orange ones than blue. There could have been a few more fruits, maybe, but I trimmed the plants early to prevent them from spreading too much into the lawn due to space constraints. Overall, I'm really happy with the year's harvest. Pumpkins have a long growing season, ranging from 80 to 120 days from sowing, depending on the variety, growing conditions and weather. It's not surprised that pumpkins are called the queens of fall. Their typical orange color makes it easy to see that harvesting peaks in autumn. Pumpkins need plenty of time and warmth to develop properly. The ripper the pumpkins, the longer they last in storage. During ripening, it's a good idea to place something like a flat stone under the fruits to protect them from moisture and prevent rot. Keep an eye on the weather forecast to avoid letting them freeze. Harvesting typically takes place from August, mainly in September through October. This means, with direct sowing into the ground in early May, you'll harvest from mid-August at the earliest. With indoor sowing in mid-April and transplanting seedlings in mid-May, you can start harvesting from early August due to the head start from pre-growing. Always consider this time frame as a guide. Harvesting depends primarily on the weather during the season, your location and growing conditions. For precise timing, monitor not just the calendar, but also the signs of ripeness to avoid harvesting too early. Ripeness is crucial for both flavor and shelf life. Properly harvested and stored ripe pumpkins can last up to 6 months. You can tell a pumpkin is ripe by these key signs. Stem. When a pumpkin is ripe, its stem hardens and starts to dry out. A green, soft stem indicates the fruit is still unripe. Skin. A ripe pumpkin has a hard, firm skin that you can't easily pierce with a fingernail. The skin color also becomes more vibrant depending on the variety. For example, deep orange, yellow or green. Sound. A ripe pumpkin produces a hollow, resonant sound when tapped, while an unripe one sounds solid and dull. While you can harvest pumpkins slightly early, it's better to leave them on the plant as long as possible for full flavor and longer shelf life. Unripe pumpkins are softer and less flavor. You can still use them in the kitchen, but consume them quickly and don't store them for long. Optimal daytime temperatures for harvesting pumpkins are between 10 to 25 degrees Celsius, 50 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit to minimize moisture on the skin, which could lead to rot during storage. At these temperatures, pumpkins can reach full ripeness. It's also important to plan the harvest for a dry day to avoid moisture related rot during storage. In September and the transition to October, temperatures typically range around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, 50 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing pumpkins to fully ripen. If the fall is warm and dry, you can leave pumpkins on the beds longer, which can increase their weight by 10 to 15% and improve their color. But keep monitoring the weather. Pumpkins are sensitive to cold and should be harvested before temperatures drop below 7 to 10 degrees Celsius, 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, as growth slows and the risk of damage increases. The first light frosts around 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, significantly reduce pumpkin shell life from 6 months to just 3 months, because frost softens the flesh and makes them prone to mold. Light frost of 1 to 2 nights above -2 degrees Celsius, 28 degrees Fahrenheit, are usually tolerable and won't destroy the fruits. In fact, pumpkins may become slightly sweeter, but it's not ideal, so try to avoid it. Soft frost below -2 degrees Celsius, 28 degrees Fahrenheit, will permanently damage pumpkins, causing them to soften, lose color, and rot quickly. And now my recommendation, always check the weather forecast and harvest before the first frost if possible, ideally on a dry day above 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If frost arrives early, harvest starting with the ripened pumpkins and move them to a warm place immediately. Harvest pumpkins using a sharp knife or garden shears. You might also need gloves and a crate or basket for the fruits. For large pumpkins, keep in mind they are heavy, so a cart or wheelbarrow is helpful for transport. Be careful not to damage the fruit during harvesting, as this reduces their shelf life. If damage occurs, set those pumpkins aside and process them as soon as possible. Never break pumpkins off by hand, as this can damage the skin or stem, creating entry points for pathogens and pests. This increases the risk of mold and can reduce shelf life by up to 50%. It can also weaken the entire plant and affect the remaining fruits. It's equally important to leave at least 5 to 7 centimeters, 2 to 3 inches of the stem on the pumpkin. This acts as a natural seal that protects the cut from moisture and bacteria, extending shelf life by 1 to 2 months compared to pumpkins without stems. Never remove the stem after harvesting, as the open wound can lead to rot during storage. And now let's go harvest those pumpkins. Find all ripe fruits on the plant. Use a sharp knife or garden shears to cut the fruit, leaving at least 5 to 7 centimeters, 2 to 4 inches of stem. Lift the pumpkin but its base, not the stem, to avoid breaking it, and place it in a prepared container. Do not leave the pumpkins on direct sun for a long time. So we have now all pumpkins harvested, and let's see how many of them we have. And actually, Petr was right. We have 18 bulbs, so 18 pumpkins. I said 12, so it's finally 18.
Okay, it means that I'm able to count till 18.
It was hidden, and
those greens are badly visible.
let's see a small summary. I had 4 plants, 2 orange Hokkaido, 2 green Hokkaido, and finally we have 18 Hokkaidos. But we can see that the orange ones, we have more of them. It's actually 12 orange Hokkaidos. So it's 6 pumpkins, 6 fruits per plant. And it's, according to me, it's really great harvest, and I'm really happy about that. The green ones, we have 6 fruits per 2 plants, but I think that it's caused because they had less sun than the orange ones, because we had large.
It's a large tree. It's causing probably more shadow.
But in general, the plants were planted in the bed with 20 centimeters layer of compost. So I think that they had a full of nutrients. So it's really the great result, and I'm really happy about that. Pumpkins are known for their ability to last a long time if stored properly. There are several ways to store them. Let's go through them step by step. For quick processing or decoration, clean the pumpkins and store them in a dry, well-ventilated place at room temperature, 18 to 22 degrees Celsius, 64 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, with low humidity. A shelf kitchen, windows sill, or porch where the pumpkins don't touch and are protected for direct sunlight is ideal. For long-term storage, pumpkins need to be prepared and stored correctly to ensure they last up to 6 months. Here are the key steps. Before storing, thoroughly clean pumpkins to remove all dirt. After harvesting, let them cure in a warm, dry environment, such as sunny spot, a well-ventilated greenhouse, a windowsill, or near a heated, for 10 to 14 days at 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, 77 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Curing helps the skin harden, extending shelf life. Store pumpkins in a dry, cool place with temperatures between 10 to 16 degrees Celsius, 50 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit, and good ventilation. Humidity is the worst enemy of pumpkins. Ideal locations include dry basements, garages, or cool rooms with low humidity. Avoid storing pumpkins in overly cold environments below 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, as the cold can cause damage, or in warm environments which speed up degradations. Pumpkins shouldn't be stored directly on the ground or in close contact with other fruits. Place them on a layer of straw, cardboard, or wooden shelves in a single layer. Hanging pumpkins in mesh bags is another good option. Regularly inspect pumpkins for soft spots or signs of rot. If you find any, remove the affected pumpkin immediately to prevent rot from spreading to others. With proper storage and regular care, you can enjoy fresh pumpkins throughout winter and sometimes even into spring, unless you use them up sooner. Besides storing whole pumpkins, you can process them by freezing, canning, or drying. What you will do with your pumpkin harvest is now up to you. Fall is also a great period for harvesting root vegetables like celeriac. How to care properly for celeriac in our other video, so go check it out.